Welcome to Dukascopy TV. Joining me in the studio is Frank Hollenbeck. Welcome, Frank.
Well, good to be here.
The Swiss franc has recently been hitting its limit of 1.2. Due to reactions to this initiatives, will the central bank be able to keep the floor intact?
Well, we have to distinguish between a country that is trying to keep its currency from depreciating and a country that is trying to keep its currency from appreciating. Okay. In the case of the Russian ruble, okay, the Russian central bank has had to sell foreign assets, for example, sell U.S. Treasury bonds, okay, and basically purchase Russian rubles. There's a limit to that, though. They can only sell so much foreign assets. They don't have the ability to create or to print dollars. Okay. In the case of the Swiss franc, it's quite different in the sense that they're purchasing euros and then putting Swiss francs into the system. Okay. Well, they can put an infinite amount of Swiss francs into the system to protect the 1.2 floor. Okay. Now, what they're doing is that they're then converting those euros into European government bonds. So they're putting the euros back into the system. Under this initiative, okay, what they'd have to do is basically purchase dollars, okay, and then return those dollars to the system by purchasing gold. So for me, there's nothing in this initiative that limits the central bank's ability to defend the 1.2 floor.
If this initiative will have little effect on the monetary policy, why implement it?
Well, I think there's a growing, worldwide sentiment that the currency should have a guarantee of a certain level of purchasing power. As we can see, the Swiss franc has lost 90% of its purchasing power since 1914. We must remember that every Swiss franc that the central bank prints is a tax. Okay, it's a tax on your cash balance. Okay, it's a tax that no one has voted for. Okay, it's basically legal counterfeiting. Okay, and we must also remember that the winners from printing money are the early recipients of the money. In other words, the people who gain the most are the early recipients of the money, which is the government and the banking sector. Okay, that's why since 1971 in the U.S., the banking sector has gone from 4% to over 10% today. Okay, the people who pay for this, okay, are the late recipients of the money, and that's just basically you and me. So I think there's a growing sentiment worldwide to return to a situation where we have somewhat of stability in the purchasing power of currencies in general.
Well, thank you so much for your insights on the gold initiative, Frank.
Well, thanks for having me here.
No problem. Well, that's all we've got time for today. Make sure you keep checking back in with Dukascopy TV. Goodbye.